First, you heard CNN's Michael Smerconish and Bill Maher defending Trump's peace deals and peace talks between Ukraine and Russia. But MSNBC pundits and people on CNN are trying to accuse Trump of being a Russian agent for trying to stop a deadly war. Their ratings have dropped by about a half to 60% since Trump won. Let's welcome Outkick host and Fox News contributor Tomi Lahren. Tomi, it's great to see you again. Your response to all of that you just heard?
Well, not only is President Trump working hard to end endless wars, he's also apparently ended MSNBC because they're MS now, so that's another victory, I suppose. But I think that Bill Maher is almost fully on the MAGA train now because he sees what many liberals also see but won't admit. This president is doing exactly what he was elected to do and exactly what he campaigned on. He wants to end endless wars. He's going to put America first, but he also wants to end the slaughter and end the killing. And that's exactly what he's doing in this situation, as well as the other situations that Bill Maher expertly outlined, to which the other guest had the audacity to scream about the carpet. I mean, I don't know how these social media experts think that you end an endless war, but you kind of have to meet with both parties. He did that last week, and then he's engaging with the other side this week, working rapidly towards hopefully a lasting peace deal. And the left is so Trump deranged, they can't get out of their own way and root for peace. Liz, it feels like their brains are just completely broken, and I hope that they come to their senses soon, but I'm not going to hold my breath.
Yeah, Tomi, to what you're saying, when you watch how the president is doing this, President Trump is leading the push to pump more U.S. oil to get lower oil prices. That will negatively impact the Russian economy. Russia's oil revenues make up about half its budget. And at the same time, he's also slapping tariffs on nations buying Russia's oil, like India. People don't understand that Russia needs new tankers. Their tankers are 99 years older. I mean, let me back up. 150 of them are at least generations old. So when you see the coverage, though, at MSNBC and CNN, attacking Trump for what he's trying to do, and then you see what happened with MSNBC. They're now forced to drop the letters NBC from their name. Comcast is saying, you're going to move out of the NBC building, and you're not going to be able to use any of the Peacock logos. What's going on with MSNBC?
Well, I'll tell you, as somebody who loves some of the NBC franchises like Bravo, for example, I'm really happy to hear this. But I think it's obvious their audience is dwindling because their audience is tired of being lied to. They might be more on the left, more left of center, and that's just fine. But they don't want to be lied to. And I think a lot of their audience also doesn't understand why the same network that's been crying about Ukraine for over 3 years, has Ukraine flags in their bio, now is not rooting for peace and rooting for our president. This president also, by the way, is always going to put America's interests first, but he's also going to try to do what's right for the rest of the world, and he's one of the only people that can do that. President Biden wasn't able to get this done. All he could do was issue blank check after blank check to Ukraine with no end in sight. This president is a solutions president. He acts, he gets things done, and we should all applaud that. Put aside the Trump derangement syndrome. Be happy for America, be happy for Ukraine, be happy for peace. It's not that hard.
We're happy that Tomi Lahren came on tonight. It's good to see you, Tomi. Please come back soon.